Hello, everybody. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. Seems like it. Hello, everybody. What's up? Hope you guys are having a great day, a great week, right? We are halfway there for the end of the week, Wednesday or Thursday for folks in India. Interesting stuff today, and very interesting stuff. We are going to continue over our TryHackMe journey for Linux Fundamentals Part 2. This is a premium room. What that means is you have to be a paid member to be able to see the content of this, able to do the task in this room. But great part is, because I have a premium membership, you guys can follow along, see what is the content, what are all the information inside this, the attack box, what are the challenges, and you can follow along. Best part would be you can actually also type your answers, and I will, whatever answers I ask or the questions they are, when I ask those questions, whatever you type, I will put those answers, and let's see where, if you are doing great or you need like to brush up on some of the topics, right? And I'm there for you, right? That's the whole reason I do this. So we all learn together. And with that being said, let's go over to our journey with TryHackMe. Okay, hopefully you guys can see my screen now. Should be visible, right, left. Okay, awesome. And give me a thumbs up if you can see it, if you need any help and anything else. We are on Linux Fundamentals Part 2. Let me drop this link so everybody can see. I should do it. Yeah, this is fine. So, and I will just pin this so it's easier for people to access even later, right? Okay, awesome. Super. So now let's talk about this premium room. Linux Fundamentals Part 2. Continue your learning Linux journey with Part 2. You will be learning how to log into a Linux machine using SSH, how to advance your commands, file system interactions, right? So a couple of those important stuff. So with the introduction, have I joined this room? Yeah, I think I have. Yeah. So welcome. This is big enough, right? Welcome to the second part of the reworked Linux Fundamentals series. We will be applying our knowledge from the first installment in this series. So things like the operators we learned, ls, pwd, couple of other things, right? So I highly recommend you completing that room, the part 1, before proceeding further. In the part 2, we will be ditching the in-browser functionality and help you get started in what is a fundamental skill in being able to log into and control the terminals of remote machines. Not only this, but the room will also have you unlocking the potential of your first few commands by introducing you to using flags and arguments. So when you are given, let's say, ls, what are the flags? What are extra features you can access to gain more information? Advancing your knowledge of the file systems to perform some more useful commands such as copying or moving files. Discovering how access to files and folder is managed and how we can determine our access. So finding who is there. Panda, what's up? Howdy. Yep, nerdy in the house, bro. Nerdy in the house. What's up? So we are going to talk about some of the files that are being managed, how the folders are being managed, who has the permission to change it, and stuff like that. Next, will be running your first few scripts and executables, like those programs, right? Yeah, you are, boss. We all are. Yeah. Welcome to the club, the nerdy club. Okay, so let's start. We have accessing your Linux machines using SSH. So first we have to do is the in-browser functionality was used in Linux Part 1 to get you directly connected to your first ever Linux machine without any hassle. So we used the browser. In fact, the in-browser functionality uses the exact same protocol that we are going to be using today. This protocol is called Secure Shell, or SSH for short. And so S means secure and SH means shell, and is the common means of connecting and interacting with the command line of a remote Linux machine. So any Linux server, machines, vulnerable, non-vulnerable, whatever you access, SSH is going to be your way, whether you are in cloud, AWS, Azure. So this is a good one to get familiar with. So we will be deploying two machines. First, our Linux machine. Second, our TryHackMe attack box. I'm not using my own Oracle box, the VM box, so that you can understand how things work, and for people who are not familiar with these things, right? What is SSH? What is SSH and how does it work? Again, because you guys can see, right, this server, if I bring it up a bit, okay. So I want to show you this because I know a lot of people can't see things very well because of the captions. When I'm here, I click on the THM attack box and click on this full screen button. This opens it in a new browser, so it's easier for me to read, and I will be going over these stuff way better. So hopefully you have done the attack box on the top of the page. Click that and the view comes. What is SSH and how does it work? Secure Shell, or SSH, simply is a protocol between devices in an encrypted form. Using cryptography, any input we send in a human readable format is encrypted for traveling over a network, where it is then unencrypted once it reaches the remote machine. So basically think about this way, right? You are in building A, your friend is in building B. You want to talk to your friend, you are in the balcony and you want to talk to your friend, right? And your friend is in this balcony, blah, 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 talking to you. This can be listened by anyone. What do? You create a specific, let's say you might have seen the cup and the string method, right? In the cartoons and everywhere. So SSH is basically like that. So this is your machine, this is your friend's machine, encrypted form, so nobody can see or hear what you guys are saying, what you guys are discussing. Same thing is SSH. You are creating that specific encrypted way so you can talk from your computer to a network, basically another machine, and nobody else can listen because it's encrypted. You can learn about the various types of encryption on a TryHackMe room, but for now we only need to understand that SSH allows us to remotely execute commands on another device remotely. Any data sent between the device is encrypted when it is sent over a network such as the internet. Two things basically, it allows for us to connect to a system and the data sent is encrypted. Simple. Deploying your Linux machine. So there is attack box, the one we started earlier. This is a start machine. This is the vulnerable one, or this is the target machine. So first one was you. This is your friend's machine. Think about it that way. Scroll to the top of the page to see the deployment information, similar to the screenshot below. So here we see target machine, right? The one we want to target, we see the title, don't care about it. The IP address and the expiry time. Those two things are big for us, but most importantly, the IP address. Which this is the address, this is the name of the computer we are going to talk about. So we need to know who we are talking to. The IP address displayed in the address of your Linux machine that you will be logging into using SSH. Take note of this for now. Deploying the TryHackMe attack box. Looking at the top of the page, press Start Attack Box, which we did to deploy TryHackMe attack box that we will be interacting with. The TryHackMe attack box is the Ubuntu Linux machine and is hosted online in the cloud on their AWS system and can be interacted with your browser. You will be using this to interact with the machine that you deploy in this task. I will show you how I can tell this is in AWS as well. Another interesting command, these are the commands I will show you and you can tell. And this is the command I was able to use to tell I was hacked one time. There was a virus in my system. Using SSH to log into your Linux machine, the syntax to use SSH is very simple. We only need to provide two things, the IP address and the correct credentials. So basically, let's say SSH into another Linux machine is like logging into a Facebook account, right? You need the right name and the credential, the password. In this case, you need, or even let's say you are going into another a friend's apartment, right? You want to check into their system or into their apartment. What you need? You need which floor they are on, right? What is their room number, and you need the keys to enter their apartment or their room. So two things, address and the keys. That's what is same for remote access machines. For this room, we will be logging into as TryHackMe and password will also be TryHackMe without the quotation marks. Let's use the IP address of the machine displayed in the card at the top of the room as the IP address and this user. To construct a command to log into the remote machine using SSH, the command is to do SSH. So you tell, okay, what you want to do. I want to SSH into. Where you want to SSH into? The IP address. And how? With the username. You have to first type as TryHackMe, I want to, or as censored hacker, I want to access this apartment. As TryHackMe, I want to access this machine. But first, we need to open a terminal on the TryHackMe attack box. There is an icon placed on the desktop called terminal, and now you can proceed with the inputs. So let's do this. Okay, whatever. If you see, you can see this machine, right? We go on the right side and you see terminal, or if you don't see that, go to applications and it should be somewhere here. Probably here at the bottom here on the left, terminal. Opens up a black and white screen or green and blue almost. I increase the size. Now, this is my machine. And now I want to log into my friend's machine, right? This is my apartment. I want to go into other one. How do I do it? SSH, TryHackMe, because that's the name of my friend, right? And this is the IP address. My friend's name, and which apartment they are in or which room. Paste this, and you have to use Control-Shift-V because this is Linux. This, and they will ask you this fingerprinting thing. Just say yes. You don't have to worry about this. Password, as we know, is TryHackMe. You see, now, earlier it was something else. Now it is TryHackMe Linux 2. So we are in that machine now. And that's how simple it is. So, for example, SSH TryHackMe into this server IP, replacing the IP address with the IP address of your Linux target machine, which we got up there. Once executed, you will then be asked to trust the host and then provide a password which is TryHackMe for the TryHackMe account. This is also called TryHackMe, right? Simple. Note that we are connected any commands that we execute will now execute on the remote machine, not your own. So like we create a file, we play a game, whatever happen on our friend's machine, on this target machine, because we are inside it now. Note, when you type a password into SSH login prompt, they are not visible, right? Just like we did. You will not be able to see any text or symbol appear as you type the password. It is still working. However, for security reasons, they do not allow they do not show the password, which is good because somebody could be eavesdropping. Somebody could be looking at your screen if you're working on something important and see your password. You don't want that to happen, right? Now, let's do our old commands, ps, ls, to see important, my file, my folder, right? Unknown. pwd, we are in home directory, and inside that we are in TryHackMe, those type of stuff. So let's complete this. Now this is important. This is where the game changes. And this is what you will be using with your so many hundreds and hundreds of commands you will be using. This in one command can be so powerful because it will have different flags and switches. It will have different variables you can set, different settings, configuration file. This is how you do it. A majority of commands allow for arguments to be provided. These arguments are identified by a hyphen and a certain keyword known as flags or switches. So when you are setting up a configuration, right? To give you a quick example, when you are setting up a configuration, let's say you are setting up a configuration of your Facebook profile. What do? You say, okay, profile display picture will be this. My name will be this. Yada, 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 right? Then you setting up another fake profile. Then you do my display picture for this will be this. My name will be this, right? You are setting up different variables. You are setting up different values, different configuration. And that's how Facebook acts. Same thing here. We'll later discuss how we can identify what command allows for arguments to be provided and understanding what they do exactly. When using a command, unless otherwise specified, it will perform its default behavior, right? So if you do not provide anything, Facebook might already know or filled your information. That's how it will work. For example, ls, listing or lists the content of working directory in the folder in the directory you are. However, hidden files are not shown. We can use flags and switches to extend the behavior of commands, right? So when we did ls, we only saw 4 things. There might be something else hidden. We don't know. Using our ls example, ls informs us that there is only one folder named folder1 as highlighted in the screenshot below. Note that the contents in the screenshots below are only examples. So basically this is for their example. We might see something different like we did here. We have 4, even though we just see one folder as well. However, after using the -a argument, the -a flag, short for all, we now suddenly have an output with a few more lines, and the folders such as hidden folder and files and folders with dot in the start are hidden. So if you see the name, the dot is in the starting. So let's try with R1. First, if we do ls without -a, now if we do with -a, you see we have bash logout, bash rc. These are 2 other things. Don't worry about them. We'll talk about later. Then profile. So we got 4 more stuff and 1 more folder. And if you want to do all, you can't do a -all. This is different, right? This is not the same command. If you want to see the -a behavior, you have to do 2 of these, ls -a, and if you are going for the full name, ls -all, to see the full behavior. So if you are typing the full form, it has to be -- and if you're typing the short form, it has to be just 1. Show 1 second here. Okay. Awesome. Now let's go over here. What it says. Commands that accept these will also always have dash dash help option, another switch, another flag. This option will list the possible options that the command accepts, provide a brief description and the examples of these. So you might have seen this actually already. If for example I have my Twitch and my YouTube, right? So if I do my Discord command, because I know Discord. Let's say if you don't know about the Discord command, what do you do? I think you type commands. It gives you a list of all commands. So help is the same thing. Dash dash help is the same ideology. When you do ls dash dash help, you will get more information about different flags ls has, and then you can use whichever one you wanted to from the beginning. Okay. So when we did ls dash help, dash dash help, we see how to use it, list information of files, blah blah blah, and we see so much. There is small a, there is capital A, so the case of the system matters, right? And same thing. This option is in fact a formatted output of what is called a man page. Man is not like the female male. Man means manual, right? Do not go. You got it. Which contains documentation for Linux commands and applications. Manual page or the man page. The manual pages are a great source of information for both system commands and applications available on both a Linux machine, which is accessible on the machine itself, and online. So if you go on Google and type manual page, you will see Linux man pages and you will get a list of all the things. So if I go ls, I will get the command, ls command directory, and whatever I see here, right, you will see the same stuff in there. It's exactly the same stuff. So there are two ways, and the reason it's important to know how to learn man page, if you actually are doing hacking in future, you don't want to keep on going to Google. You might not even have access to internet. And that's why it's important to learn how to see, access, and read man page and have the patience. And it's once you learn that, it's like takes, I will say half an hour, just do for a couple of commands, you will get used to of it. To access this document, we can use man command and then provide the command we want to read the documentation for. Using our example, we'll do man ls to view the manual pages for ls. So just like we went for the man page first and then we typed ls command, same thing here. If I do man ls, same thing I get, right? Lists and all the flags and everything. Sweet. So man ls, same thing, blah, blah, blah. Explore the manual page of the ls command we did. What directional arrow key would we use to navigate down the manual page? So if we go back, I'm using the down key. So answer should be down, right? What flag would we use to display the output in a human readable way? What flag? Human readable way. I think for ls maybe. So we have to search human readable. It will be -l. With -l, so with ls we use -h for human readable. With -l and -s prints the sizes as well. Nice. So we can quit this by typing q and we can say -h. Beautiful. Now let's talk about the file system interaction continued. We covered some of the most fundamental commands when interacting with the file system on the Linux machine. For example, we covered how to list and find the contents of folders using ls and find, and navigating to the file system using cd, changing the directory. In this task, we are going to learn some more commands for interacting with the file system to allow us to first create files, right, and folders. Second, move them. Let's say if it's in desktop, move it to the downloads folder. Delete them. Let's say I created a file which is like untitled or whatever, how to do that. So these commands will be touch is to create a file. mkdir full form will be make directory. So make a folder, creates a folder. cp copy, it copies a file or folder. mv is for move, rm for remove, file for just determine the type of file it is. It is a image file, png, jpg, or a document file, whatever it is. Pro tip, similarly to using cat, we provide full file paths like directory, directory1, directory2, -note for all these commands. So again, we have to provide the full command or the relative path which we talked about. Creating files and folders, touch and make directory. So first we are going to create files and folders on Linux in a simple process. First, we'll cover creating a file. The touch command takes exactly one argument, the name we want to give to the file we want to create. For example, we create a file named note using touch note. It's worth noting that touch simply creates a blank file. We need to use commands like echo or some text editor, right, like notepad and stuff, to or nano, right, to add contents to it. So let's do that first. I see if I do ls, there are like 4 files here, right? And if I do ls with -h, same, lh, let's see. 4 files with some more extra information, doesn't matter. Now I want to create a file name, let's say touch note. Didn't show anything. And remember, this is one thing a lot of people don't realize. Silence is golden. That's the key if you want to be good at Linux. Remember, if it is silent, nothing came out, it's good. It worked perfectly fine. And now if I do ls, what do you see? Note is there. It wasn't there earlier. So remember, silence is gold. Touch ls, we see 2 things. Earlier it was just folder 1. This is a similar process for making a folder, which just involves using the mkdir command and again providing the name that we want to assign to the folder, the directory. For example, creating the directory, my directory, using this. So my directory name, let's say I do mkdir my folder. Cannot create one because my folder already exists. What I go with? My folder 2. Oh, it created. I should have done it this accidentally. I typed this one. So my folder 3, if I do, that also will be there. That's it. Simple. Now let me know if I go fast because these are kind of basic commands. If you want me to go over these, read things slowly, let me know. But if not, I'll just go a bit fast. Removing files and folders. So rm is an extraordinary out of the commands that we covered so far. We can simply remove files by using rm. Rm means remove, right? Delete. However, you need to provide the -r switch alongside the name of a directory you wish to remove. What that means, if let's say I want to remove a file, I just do rm and the name of the file. But if I want to do directory, I have to do -r because it will go inside all the things and then delete it. Anurag, sounds good, buddy. I'll do a bit faster. So rm, we have all these files, right? Rm for note. Let's see, note is gone. Now, if I do rm with my folder 2, it won't work because it's a directory. But if I do rm -r, gone. And that's how remove works. Now let's talk about copying and moving files and folders. Copying and moving files is an important functionality on a Linux machine. So starting with CP, which is for copying, it takes where is the file, right? If I want to copy a file, I have to tell, okay, where the file is and where I want it to go. So here, copy, note, and then note 2. Because I didn't give a different directory, a different path, it will happen in the same path. So if I have, let's say, CP and I have unknown, right? What I can do, I can create it as unknown2. This will copy it. And as you can see, there are two. Interestingly, let's say if I want to do copy, but I want to create in a previous directory or a different inside home. Instead of this one is, let me show you the proper path so it's easier to understand. So we have CP home and then unknown1. We are going to change the path with home and unknown1 in the home directory. Wait, what? Cannot start. pwd. No such file or directory. What am I doing wrong, lads? Unknown1. Path name. What was it? Oh, TryHackMe. Yes, thank you. Thanks, boss. Cannot create regular file. Oh, okay. I don't have the permission to do it. Thank you, man. What I can do is, I have folder, my folder 3. This is empty, right? I can do here where home, then slash TryHackMe, and then slash my folder 3. Worked. Silence is gold. I do ls my folder 3 and we have unknown1 here. So you type the path. If you wanted same path, do not type anything. Simple. Now moving a file. This also takes two arguments, just like the commands, copy command. But in this, make sure instead of copying, you are moving the file. So that place where it is, let's say it's in desktop, will be removed and goes to your downloads folder. And we will merge or modify the second file that we provide as an argument. Not only can you use MV to move a file to a new folder, but you can also use MV to rename a file or folder. So this is also the command for naming a file which you created, let's say unknown1 to Jack or notes. For example, in the screenshot below, we are renaming node 2 to be named as node 3 and node 3 will be replaced. So move node 2 into node 3. Node 2 is gone and just node 3 is there. Quickly we can see here, if I do ls again and I want to do move unknown1 into my folder 3. And if you remember, we did unknown1 already. So it will remove the content of this and puts its place on it. But if I did, instead of unknown1, I did unknown2. I do ls, both are gone. But if I do ls of folder 3, boom. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Determining the file system. What is often misleading and often catches people out is making pre-assumptions from files as to what their purpose or contents may be. Files usually have what's known as an extension to make it easier. So at the end, you might have seen .txt, .doc, .ppt. It tells what those files are. For example, text files have the extension .txt, but not all the time. So for the files we have used in our examples, haven't had an extension like the node and node 3. Without knowing the content of why the file is there, we don't really know its purpose. Enter the file command. This command takes only one argument, which is the file which you want to understand what their purpose is. and then gives you information what type of file it is. So if I do, I'll just change into this directory, or wait, actually, we have important and my file. I don't know what those two things do. So I will do is file simply and important. It's a text file. What is the other one? It's again a text file too. But what if you do on folder? It's a directory, right? So you can tell what is what with this. How would you create a file named new note? So to create one, you have touch. Next, on the deployable machine, what is the file type of unknown one in TryHackMe's home directory? So let's go to cd my folder 3 and then let's type file for unknown one. Remember, I'm using tab to autocomplete. We see it's ASCII and text. Okay. Hi sir, can you guide me how to start with TryHackMe? Sure, bud. If you see some of the contents of my file, like what I have been doing, pre-security is a good part to get started. And if you want, before I end my stream today, I can give you a quick intro on how to get started, if that's okay. I'm just in the middle of this because people are waiting. So let's do this. Let's start with where you have just joined us, right? So on the deployable machine, we have the file unknown. It was ASCII. Thank you, man. Thank you so much for understanding. So how would you move the file, my file, to directory my folder? So for move, we have just short forms, everything, right? So it's very easy to remember. Move MV. And where I want, what file I want. First, what I want to move. Second, where I want to move it. Or a better way to say it will be, where is the file I want to move and what I want to move. And what are the contents of this file? So to see the contents of a file, my file, I can do cat important. Cat is to concatenate. Sees. So important has su user 2. But what about my file? It has thm file system. That's our first flag. So let's go here. thm file system. Continue to apply your knowledge and practice the commands for this task. Roger that. Now, permissions 101. Yesterday, just like I explained, right? Let's say we are in a high school, or you are in a school. You belong to a school. You are a student. What do you notice? There are 4 floors. First floor is for staff. Second is for high school kids, like which are in grade 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. Then we have for elementary school, which is like 1 to 6. And then at the bottom, we have kindergarten. Remember, person on, like you can only move up the ladder, right? So kindergarten students can't go to elementary school level, high school or staff. Same thing with like high school kids can't go to the staff, and elementary school can't go to the high school or staff. Whereas staff can go anywhere, right? Now, if you, same thing with these files in computer systems, right? There are certain files you can access as a guest or as a user, but you might have also got that error where it says contact the administrator of this computer, right? Who is the main guy? A lot of time you might have question, I am the owner, but yes, but you do not have the permissions. You have to give yourself the permissions, right? And that's what we will learn why those things happen. As you would have already found out by now, certain users cannot access certain files or folders. Just like I was not able to create, let's say I can create touch test file in this directory, but I can't do it in slash home. Oh, I can't do it in the test directory because I do not have the permission. And let's see what exactly is that. We have previously explored some commands that can be used to determine what access we have and where it leads us. In our previous task, we learned how to extend the use of commands through flags and switches, right? Take for example the ls list command, which lists the content of the current directory we are in. So in our case, it would be TryHackMe. When using the -l switch, we can see 10 columns such as, excuse me, when using the -l switch, we can see 10 columns such as in the screenshot below. However, we are only interested in the 3-1. So we saw so many things, right? When we do LH. Although intimidating, these 3 columns are very important in determining certain characteristics of a file and a folder and whether or not we have access to it. So whether or not we can go inside that folder, whether or not we can create a file in that folder, or whether or not we can read a file or a folder. A file or a folder can have couple of characteristics that determine both what actions are allowed and what users or groups has the ability to perform the given action, such as the following. So basically, can you read a file? Can you write to the file? Can you execute a game or a file inside it, right? Because if you created it, like some games you can execute a game, but you can't read the code inside it, or you can't write the code or change the code, right? For example, Adobe, technically we can, but you don't usually have the permissions. Briefly, the differences between users and groups. The great thing about Linux is that permissions can be so granular that whilst a user technically owns a file, if the permissions have been set, then a group of users can also have either the same or different set of permissions to the exact same file without affecting the file owner itself. You have seen this when we go on Microsoft. Remember how many times when we say we are sending, or even with Google Drive, you are sharing workspace, right? So many places on the OneDrive or wherever you use. When we create, let's say, a document for a project, right? What we have the option: can they view? Can they edit? Right? Those documents are still owned by you, right? They are in your folder, in your OneDrive, but somebody can view it, somebody can edit, and some people can just comment on it, right? Same idea goes here. That's actually from there, from Linux goes there, right? That idea came from Linux. Let's put this into a real world context. The system user that runs a web server must have the permission to read and write files for an effective web application. So for example, a Facebook, the user, right, should be able to see the content of their file, the messages they got and stuff, and write the message or write a post. However, companies such as a web hosting company will have to want to allow their customers to upload their own files for their website without being the web server system user, compromising the security of every other user. So basically, as Facebook, you can upload your file without changing the permissions of other people. We'll learn the commands necessary to switch between users below. So switching between users. So remember, users, who are the users? Let's say even if we are talking about this computer I'm using, what I have my user, let's say censored hacker. Then there is also admin user by Windows, right? Or it could be, let's say, Microsoft. According to their license, there is a bigger user, the super admin, the superman, like I'm a man, they are superman, the super admin of this user, bigger than admin, right? and this is me. Let me make it look sexy. It's important to look sexy some places. Okay. So let's go here. Switching between users from censored hacker to admin or wherever on a Linux install or a Linux computer is easy work. That thanks to SU. Remember, all these things are basically abbreviations. So switching users, right, is SU. SU is switch user. In case of Linux, sorry, what's that? And let me. In case of Linux, are the Superman, right? We are the Superman, right? Depends on what we are. Depends on the case. But in Linux, our goal is to be the Superman or super admin, basically, or even just you can say admin. The right word, though, the right word is called root. This is our goal. Yeah, but this is also right the root user or the super user, right? And so you are correct. Yes, our goal is to be the Superman or the super user or the root user. The word, a correct technical term is root. Why root? Because if you remember, I think you were not there, but when we talked about it, right, there is a root directory. From there, you might have seen, like for example, in your computer, you might have seen this as your C drive. In there, you have, let's say, desktop. You have your games. You have downloads. And they also have, let's say, desktop have folder 1. It has a file. Right? And same with games, you have GTA, Vice City, GTA 6, hopefully, and other downloads like music and stuff, right? Yo, buddy, what's up? Travis, my man, how you doing? So, as I was saying, right, you have C drive, and then there is desktop, games, downloads, and stuff. So, this is the root. This also C drive in Linux is called root directory, root folder, because if you see, this technically is a root. Goes from here, one root splits more. If this is the root of a tree, right, goes, splits more, goes, splits more. So this is the root directory, the main one, and the user who has access to this is called root user. And that's what we want to. We want to be able to access this particular thing. Because if we have access to this, you can imagine we have access to everything. But if I just have access to this, I don't have access to this, then that's the issue. If I had just access to this, not to this. That's the issue we are having here. I have access, if you see pwd, I have access to TryHackMe root directory, but not the home one. That's why I can't create a file in the home one. Right? That's the whole thing. That's the idea. So our goal by the end of this like learning journey we have with the path is to be the root user. Whether or not we have access, we find ways to become one. And that's what hacking is basically. The word is escalation. Unless you are the root user or using root permissions through sudo, then you are required to know two things to facilitate this transition of user accounts. The user we wish to switch to, the user's password. So if I'm on Facebook, right, I want to be, let's say, become your, I want to be becoming Anurag or Rupankar, right? I want to be you guys, right, on YouTube. What do I need? I need your name, right, the handle, and I need your password. So same idea here. I need the name of the user and I need the password. Or even for Ripley, same thing. And how you do this? The su command takes a couple of switches that may be of relevance to you. For example, executing a command once you log in and specifying a specific shell you use. I encourage you to read the man page of su to find out more. However, we will cover the -L and -- login switch. And let me drop the man page URL so it's easy for you guys to have a look. Let me make it this. Yeah. So hopefully this is helpful for you guys. Okay. Where we were? Yeah. Simply by providing the -L switch to SU, we want to start a shell that is much more similar to actual user logging into the system. We inherit a lot more properties of a new user, that is the environment variables and the likes, basically a couple of other things, information. So if I want to switch to user2, I have to type the password, and then you see the TryHackMe here change to user2. For example, when using SU to switch to user2, our new session drops up into a previous user directory. So when we go SU login as user2, and this is the password, we go to a different directory. We start from a different place, right? Because if when you are, let's say you have OneDrive, you are on OneDrive, there is Google's storage, this is Google, and inside Google there is me, there is Anurag, right, and there is Rupankar, yeah. Sorry, I'm just trying to remember the names as much as possible. But let's say if I log in, right, with my credentials, and with the Google Drive, I use my username and login credentials, what will I see? I will see my folder, things inside me, whatever it is. But if I use Anurag's or Rupankar, then I log in them, they won't see mine one, they will see their respective ones. And that's what they are trying to say here. When we do SU, switch user, and log in as user2, what will I see? I will see the directories of user2. Where now, after using the -L, our new session has dropped us into the working directory of user2 automatically. On the deployment machine, who is the owner of important? How to tell the owner? ls-hl of important file. You see this? User2. But if I did for, let's say, what are the other things I have? If I did for test, who is the owner? TryHackMe, which is me. But this one, I am not the owner. This is user2. So we have to type that for our answer. What would the command be to switch to the user whose name is user2? What would be the command? Remember, switch command sudo lyrical joke. What's up, bro? What's up? Lyrical joke. Howdy, man. Howdy. Yup, TryHackMe. But no, this is, in this case, it was user2. And in here, if I want to go to user2, I will type su user2. Now, switch to this user with the password user2. So our username and password both are same. So how will I do it? Copy this thing we typed, put it here, ask for us for the password. Remember, I typed the password. You can't see because that's the default setting of Linux. Enter. See the first word, user2. In this one is TryHackMe, right? And it says first I was in this directory, nothing was showing up, but now it shows up. Different user. That's why it shows up. If I go in the home directory and go to user2, nothing shows up, just like it was for TryHackMe, right? And that's the important thing to remember. Which user you are logged into, that one will be the home directory. It will change based on that. So I will go to home and then TryHackMe. Back again. Alrighty. What is the content of the important file? What is the flag inside it? How we do it? Cat important. You don't technically always have to change to user 2 to see the content. Sometimes you just have the permission, right? Like for example, the document I was talking about when you share on Google Doc, you don't have to always have that permission because somebody might have shared it with you already. So you can access, edit, and all those stuff. Common directories. Let me take 1 second to explain you why this is important. Take your pen and paper out. Take your pen and paper out. Remember these things. This is important and go through this. Right? Take a screenshot of this. Because this will change the game for you. etc. Right? You will see these folders coming forward. And that's why I cannot stress you enough. And this will make you a better hacker or better even understanding of the Linux system. This root directory is one of the most important root directories of our system or on your system, right? The etc folder, short for etc, is a common location to store system files that are used by your operating system. So system files which have also information about users and the passwords and more stuff like that. For example, the sudo doers file highlighted in the screenshot below contains a list of users and groups that have permission to run sudo, basically root level privileges as the root person. This sudo doers, right? These people are the one who can do whatever they want on the computer. They can bring the computer to its knees, right? So they have the permission to run sudo and a set of commands as root user, the main user. Also highlighted below are the password and shadow files. These two files are special for Linux as they know as they show how system stores the password for each user in encrypted format using SHA 512 algorithm. With etc, you get to access or change even which groups should have access to the sudo doers who should be able to have root access, and you have the passwords in hash format. And there is a very beautiful site. Let me share and enjoy this. Happy birthday, Merry Christmas. CrackStation. What is this file? Remember this thing, okay? Snooze the ad so nobody sees the ad. Okay, what this one is. Let's read the back one. The reason I'm focusing this, sorry, Anurag, especially, right? You said to go faster, but this is too important to go slow. In these files, password and shadow file, passwords of each user is encrypted, right? They are encrypted. Some places they might be just hashed, right? Sometimes. So how to get the value of the hashed one? You can just find all the hashes, whatever you have, paste it here. Free password hash cracker. It will give you the password, including the algorithm SHA 512, which we just read here. So go through this site I sent. Amazing site. It's like almost an AI level game. Now we have another very important directory called var. The var directory, with var being the short form of variable data, is one of the main root directories found in a Linux install. This folder stores data that is frequently accessed or written by services and applications running on the system. For example, log files from running machine services and applications are written in the var log, or other data that is not necessarily associated with specific user. That is the database and the other stuff. Yo, I hacked the system, right? Let's say I committed a crime. Let's say this is a bank. Oh, let me make it green. Much easier to understand. Let's say this is a bank, right? With a lot of money, right? And there are cameras looking at it. This is a camera. After I came into the bank, stole all their money. This is now mine. I went to the camera room, destroyed all the logs, destroyed all the information. How powerful am I? And that's the reason some big level hackers are not never get caught. They understand how the logging is working, where the logs are being stored, and because of this they can destroy, so nobody can tell, or it's very hard to tell how they came in, what they did, all the things they did, right? Why? Because let's say if there is a database, right? There is a database, there are thousands of users on Facebook. I changed passwords of like 10, right? The user or the people who do not have the logs, who cannot see what all changes I made, they won't know who all passwords I changed. And that right there, how I came in, who all I changed and how I deleted, if they don't know, it's so hard to catch me. And that's why this is a very important file. Hopefully you understand, right? I'm trying to give it the examples. Hopefully you like those, right? Because I want you to make sure, I want to make sure once you're done with this, you understand in real life layman language. Now, the root directory itself. Unlike the home directory, the root folder is actually the home of the root system user. Just like for TryHackMe, my home was /home TryHackMe, right? For root user, right? The super admin, the Superman, that one's home is the root folder, not the home one, the root one. There isn't anything more to this folder other than just understanding that this is the home directory of the root user. But it is worth a mention as a logical presumption is that this user would have their data in a directory such as home root by default, right? So if I do as a home user ls, I can find the passwords. I can find some encrypted things which are just for my eyes only. James Bond. Next, temporary one. This is an interesting one and you might use it if you actually reach a level in, like, let's say a month or two, we are hacking every day. You might reach a level soon that you start understanding it's important and start using it as an actual hacker, ethical hacker. This is a unique root directory found in a Linux install. Short for temporary. You understand why it's important. Temporary. Temp directory is volatile and is used to store data that is only needed to be accessed once or twice. Similar to the memory of your computer. Once the computer is restarted, the contents of this folder are cleared out. So basically, let's say if I'm typing here, let's say if I'm typing hello world in this search, because right now the system has the state, if I go back and come, this will be stored. But what if I close this, or if I restarted the computer? Do you think the hello world will be written here? No, right? And that's the whole idea. What it is saying is that in our computer, right, when we think about our computer, there are a lot of things like GPU and stuff. Two things you might have heard very much of is SSD, HDD, and this is your computer science 101. This is called storage. Another thing is called memory. This is your RAM, random access memory. You might have seen I have on MacBook, right, 1 terabyte of storage, right, stuff like that. And RAM, you might have heard, oh, it has 6 GB RAM or 24 GB RAM. RAM is important to do things in that moment. Storage is important for your files to remember, okay, there is something like this in the computer. This thing right here will remain when you restart your computer. This will remain. This will not. Okay? And we will come back. I will show you something very important, why it is important to know this and why hackers love it. Similar to the memory of your computer, once the computer is restarted, the contents of this things that are inside this are gone. What's useful for us in pen testing is that any user can write to this folder by default. Any user. Meaning once we have access to a machine, It serves as a good place to store things like our enumeration scripts. What is the enumeration scripts? Let's say I'm looking for all the folders, all the files which has password in it, and I store it in this one. So let's say if the computer restarts, nobody knows I was in there or I was making some changes. It will be gone, right? Let's read through this. README. So did that. What is the directory path that would we expect logs to be stored in? Where will be the log stored? In var, which is for variable, not car, var, and logs. Do mention these, so if you find it, right? Like lyrical joke, made a mistake, which is good to make mistakes now, so you remember it for the rest of your life. So don't worry, don't be shy to answer these. What is the root directory? Similar to how RAM on a computer works. Next, what is the name of the home directory for the root user? Home of the root user. Right? Type your answers. I'll wait. Now apply your learning and navigate through these directories on the deployed Linux machine. So let's play. For this one, which one is it? Temporary, because RAM is temporary. Root users, home is root. And we have conclusion and stuff. Let's read that later. Now as user 2, I want to switch back to TryHackMe, right? And password is TryHackMe. And where am I? I'm in the home TryHackMe directory. I want to go inside the root directory, let's say. So I will go ls and /root. Cannot open the directory because I'm just a TryHackMe user. I can't. Can I go inside the etc? Probably. You see, so many options came. And let me make this interestingly easier for you guys. Nope. Sorry, give me 1 sec. I want to have the captions on as well as show you guys this properly. So as you can see here, there is so many files inside etc. The one we cared about was password and stuff. So if I go /PASS, now I have to do double tap. I will see this. But if I do more, right, I will see, okay, what all files will have which matches this PASSWD and this one. And let's say I want to go see the content of this. So I will do cat. You see how many users are there? There is TryHackMe user. There is user 2. There is Ubuntu user. EC2. This is for Amazon. This is the Amazon server we are using. Right? And so many other users which we have, including the root, our main guy here. Now, another interesting one was shadow. Remember, password one has just all the users and the groups. Permission denied. Why permission denied? Because it has the hashes of those encrypted password. If we get those hashes, boom, game over. So I would love to attack this one and understand. Let's say if we can become root. Let's say root. Can we? Nope, authentication failed. Hey, I tried. And last but not the least, actually two. ls/var. We see we have backups, crash reports, when your system crashes. We have temp, log, and a bunch of other things. And www is where like your website, if you're hosting, will be stored data. And if I want to go, let's say log folder. In the log folder also I have so many logs for different things. One could be from the website, one could be from me, one could be the cloud one, right? And let's go the last one but not the least, temp folder. So many temporary things like the related to system which are not needed to be always stored in the system. It will just become again, start again, or it, let's say, will be regenerated once the system starts. So hopefully you learned these things, right? So conclusion and summaries. Nice work. This room was quite theory heavy, covered quite a range of fundamentals in getting you familiar with Linux. To quickly recap what we did, we learned how to do SSH with SSH username. It's just like I talked about in this. Remember, SSH is basically you are trying to access your friend's room, your friend's house. So you need their name, the name whose you are accessing as, then the keys. Next, we learned advancing your system, advancing your use of commands by providing flags, switches, and stuff. So we learned about the man page, right? We learned about help -- help. So going up, we learned about -- help. The man page, which stands for manual. Don't tell me why there is no female page, why only man page. Do not ask me that. Right? And then we have a manual on Google itself. When you do man page, you can see Linux man pages. Some more commands that you will frequently be using to interact with the file system and its contents. So we talked about touch, we talked about cat, right? We talked about move, mv, you talked about copy and stuff like that. A brief introduction to file systems, which we will be going heavily to understand that there are different users who has what access with read, write, execute, and a summary paragraph of important directories, which I cannot stress you enough to remember: var, temp, etc, and root. Just 4, but remember, very important ones. I encourage you to go through this room once again or twice to gain familiarity with these concepts. So do go through this, and if you can't, just see the stuff I'm doing, right? Because this is a premium room. You don't have to pay when you're watching this. For never you will have to pay for any of the content I will ever do. Education should be free. That's it. So that's it. Linux, our task 2 will have done. Boom. Kudos to everyone. Thank you for joining this part. And let's cover. Can you share some more cool, let me read this properly. Can you share some more cool websites that I can explore on related to hacking? 100%, brother. 100%. Let me share you some of so important things. First, I will say TryHackMe is amazing, especially if you're a beginner, right? Because I am also no way like I just a year into this game properly. So there is TryHackMe. Let me keep a. Can you keep a list? Can you start typing whatever I type? So I can just put here. Just start typing the websites if you can. That will be very helpful for me. This is one, and there is a lot of free content on TryHackMe. Next would be Hack the Box. I want to practice TryHackMe daily, so where to start? Which of your YouTube videos will help me to do this? Yes, Rupan, I will give you that information as well. So first, let's do that one because he asked first. So when you go on TryHackMe, you know, easy to make an account, right? Hack the Box is a good one. Yes, that was my next one. So let's say when you go on TryHackMe, right? I started this pre-security journey because my goal, if you see, this is my goal with you guys. Junior Penetration Tester Certificates. I created a video on this on my channel. Let me go. Where I was just talking normally, right? Like no much technical stuff. My stuff, view my channel. So if you go here, I'll actually, what I will do, this is my bad. I will create a playlist so it's easy for you to continue. But if you see, this is the one which was very cool, which I even talked with a lot of people like you guys were chatting, right? So this one was about this certificate, why certificate is important and how, what are the expectations with this certificate or other ones. Start with this so you understand what is going on. Then what I'm doing, right? And this is what I will recommend with everyone if you are new to cybersecurity, if you want a structured game, right? When you come to the hack activities, this one, and learning roadmap. you see cybersecurity learning path, computer basics. We are covering pre-security. The things you learned, right? If you were like, okay, this is important. Even if you have experience in tech, I will still recommend you to go through pre-security, because if you see this, I have covered like junior penetration tester, web fundamentals, these ones very well. But I still find as a user, it is good to go through these ones, because learning is such a good thing with these ones, because it will cover some topic you might have not known. So start with pre-security. And this is the path I'm covering. So do take this pre-security path. This is the path I'm covering. And I will create the playlist, because from last, I think 3 weeks or 2 weeks, I'm covering. We have pre-security path, part 2, 3, 4. We are today at part, this should be 9. My apologies. So part 9, right? So start covering this. Understand what are the different places in cybersecurity. What are the different roles? Why it is important. And at the end here, the amazing fun quiz for you. So you can go through this quiz and see what type of a hacker you want to be, or what, not only just hacker in cybersecurity, what fits your personality. A beautiful small thing. Then I have covered networking fundamentals. Do this. Make sure you do this pre-security. And if you follow this and cybersecurity 101, you will know which type of a role you want, what type of a job you want. And then you can pick an analysis. You can go for hacking, penetration tester, or as an engineer, right? Security engineering. This is my role right now. DevOps engineer. So I would be like going into this as well. And penetration testing, I like breaking things. So those are the two paths we will be going forward in future. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully, Rupan, is that good? Like, is that helpful? Did that answer your question? Because there will be certain rooms which you have to pay for. But if you watch my videos, everything is free. You don't have to, right? Probably no ads too. I'm nowhere near, but I'm okay with that. You understood? Awesome. So now, Anurag, let's talk about your one, right? Hack the Box, a beautiful one which you mentioned. And that's actually where my journey started, Hack the Box, because they were pretty cool earlier. When you even log in, right? You could not log in without hacking. You had to hack your way to a login, basically what's it called? Login code. Do check that out, because I was part in I think 2020, 2021, they were still doing that stuff. So that's one. Another one, I think I actually saved it. Give me 1 sec. I have it saved, which was amazing, I found. Sorry, it's in my phone. Okay, beautiful. I have it here. So this one, I think, and everybody should. Hacksplaining. What is hacksplaining is this website has so many interesting hacking related, whichever topic you want to talk about in cybersecurity. Yes, that path will help with the getting a certificate. There is a lot more information. I will show you that too. But yeah, this one, do go through this. This is a great one as well. And I will say, if you go through these three, this is big, right? Because even if you just do TryHackMe, you will be so knowledgeable, bro. So big. Holy. Well, bro. So big. If you will be able to get so many things done, you will be able to make computer bend on its knees, right? Almost like a servant. Something like that. You can do that if you do these three ones, or even before, if you just do TryHackMe a lot. Now, another interesting one I find, right, just to get motivation, HackerOne, but HackerOne is for bug bounty, some part-time stuff you want to do. But what I really find good about HackerOne, and this is for your motivation, because it's important to be motivated when things are going down, when you're not able to, which is a very normal thing. And you can see my history here. Do you see that? What's in the history? I do that. HackerOne interview. This playlist is of people who have made big in the bug bounty hacking journey. look at through this, you will see like all the people were like nowhere. This is what Steve Jobs said, right? If you look around, if you see things around, you will find people who have made amazing things was no different than you. Same with the hackers, man. People who have done big hacks were nowhere different. They were just too curious. They kept on learning, right? And another thing, this is maybe I'm a maniac for this. I feel like maybe I'm just too into it. I do not watch Netflix much, but I do watch DEF CON videos a lot. I can show you my favorite one, which I watched, I think in my third year, somebody introduced me and I was like so hooked to it. I didn't understand a word. Took me 40 times watching of that specific DEF CON video to understand. So DEF CON, unlocking God mode, backdoor in x86 architecture by Christopher Domas. God mode unlocked hardware backdoors in the redacted x86. What is DEF CON? Amazing question. DEF CON, I'll show you one of the most interesting videos coming to you. But this video, I want to show you, this is a conference in nutshell, but I'll show you a good video about it. This one blew my mind, and this guy, Christopher Domas, he was silenced. He was paid by Intel, because in this, if you go through this whole one, this guy is such a genius level. Intel hired him, so he stopped doing these and just work on their systems. Like, so he could not. If you see, this guy is amazing, but he was paid so much just to stay quiet, because this guy is on another level. Let me share this, and let me share you DEF CON. Let's see the video for everyone who don't know about DEF CON, or who want to be introduced to the I don't know if that is okay to say this, but to the addiction of hacking. Welcome to the hacking and the challenge DEF CON.
Awesome.
I'll just block this. Oh, 1 minute. Let me remove my caption. Are you ready though? Are you ready to know what DEF CON is? Give me hell yeah. Give me a hell yeah. Give me a thumbs up. Something. And let's get going.
DEF CON is the biggest hacker convention of the year. It's a place where thousands of hackers come to hear talks, to demonstrate their newest hacks. It's actually a place that's so dangerous to be on the internet that they tell you to turn off the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth on your phone. And they tell you not to use the ATMs too, because those could be hacked as well. This is the DEF CON ballroom. This is sort of the main room where things are happening, and it's pretty wild. I think this is car hacking village. This car is locked. Can you get me in?
I'll unlock it for you. Should be good.
Remember this guy's face. I'll show you a guy's face. Remember that.
In?
I'll unlock it for you.
This guy, the one with the laptop.
Should be good.
Hacking is no longer like this fringe activity, and if you are at DEF CON, there's a good chance that you're here because you want to learn what could happen to you or your company.
Anyone here first time in the SCCTF? Holy crap.
I invited Chris to HackMe with his team, but they're going to hack me using social engineering, which is essentially hacking without any code. They just use a phone and an internet connection.
We help people with human security issues by testing vulnerabilities for like a network test, but it's for the people network. We test those vulnerabilities, see where the holes are, and then help people learn so they can patch them.
Can we try some of this? Can we try some,
Yeah,
see if it works?
Yeah, we probably could have our star visher here make some phone calls as
Let's do it.
Sure. Do you want to do a sample phishing call?
What's phishing?
Phishing is voice solicitation, and basically what you do is you use the phone to extract information or data points that can be used in a later attack.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Who are you going to call?
Maybe I'll call your cell phone provider
Okay.
and see if I can get them to give me your email address.
I bet they're good. I bet they have my back. But yeah, go for it.
I'm gonna spoof from your number, so it's gonna look like it's calling from you.
Okay.
Hi, I'm so sorry. Can you hear me okay? My baby, I'm sorry. my husband's like, we're about to apply for a loan and we just had a baby and he's like, get this done by today. So I'm so sorry I can't call you back. I'm trying to log into our account for uses information and I can't remember what email address we used to log the account. The baby's crying and can you help me? Awesome.
In just 30 seconds,
gmail.com?
Jessica gets my personal email address.
Now, if I needed to add our older daughter on our account so she could call in and make changes, how would I need to go about doing that? You would have to send me a secure PIN through a text message? Yeah, well, the thing is, I don't think I'll be able to receive a text message if I'm on the phone. Shh. Oh, I'm not on there either? So I thought when we got married, he added me to the account. Okay, my
Jessica
name
uses my girlfriend's name and a fake social security number
is 5127.
to set up her own personal access to my account.
Wait, I'm sorry, so there's no password on my account right now? Can I set that up?
She even gets the support person to change my password.
Thank you so much for your help today.
So she just basically blocked me out of my own account.
I'll get her fed after this. All right, thank you.
Holy shit. So they just gave you access to my entire cell phone account.
You're gonna have to go on and change your password now because it's Jess, my name.
And all it took was a crying baby and a phone call.
Yes.
I really thought that my cell phone company would protect me. I mean, like, this is the most basic stuff, and they're not doing it. And if they're not doing it, you know all these other businesses aren't doing it either.
Stay till the
Anyone
end.
with
I
a
have
phone
something
and
big.
internet connection can do so.
Stay till the end. I have something big I want to drop.
Anyone with a phone and an internet connection can do social engineering. But I was curious, what can a hacker with serious coding skills do?
Well, DEF CON is the world's biggest hacking convention. It's hacking everything, hacking social, hacking hardware, hacking software, hacking various systems.
I asked Dan Tentler, a well-known security researcher, to turn all of his firepower on me.
I did get into quite a number of things that I found.
So what were the first things you did? How did you start hacking me?
I quickly found your Squarespace blog and had an idea. Basically what I did was created a bogus Squarespace site and sent an email to you, a fish asking you to go to this website, run this certificate installer.
And I did it, because
Yeah.
I'm an idiot.
So once you ran that, it gave me access to your computer, and I created several fake pop-ups that looked like system pop-ups that would ask you for your credentials.
You didn't even have to have my passwords.
No, you gave them to me.
I gave them to you.
So I stole your 1Password keychain.
And 1Password is where I store all my other passwords. So effectively,
That's your
That
password
is
manager.
Social security number and your Amex stuff and all your stock trading and bank information. I can send email to everyone in this room as you. I am you right now, if I wanted to be. If my evilness is working correctly, it should actually be taking pictures of your desktop and pictures through your webcam every 2 minutes. And I have been watching you for about 2 days now. In coffee shops, at your mom's house, on a plane. Here's you editing stuff. There's you like.
oh my God,
looking
so this
nervous.
is literally
every 2 minutes.
through my webcam.
Yeah, through this guy.
How badly could you have messed up my life?
I could have made you homeless. I could have made you homeless and penniless.
How?
Like,
How would you make me homeless?
Like I have control of your digital life in its entirety. I have all your credentials. I have all your access to all your financial information, all your work information, all your personal information. I can pay people with your bank account or your Amex account. I am you. I can fully impersonate. Like the only thing I couldn't doctor would be like your fingerprints.
This is like as bad as it gets.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's bad.
So it turns out that Dan Tentler is very good at his job. I mean, he hacked the hell out of me. He got everything. Well, I mean, frankly, I want to take my computer and throw it into the deepest part of the ocean, and I want to become a hermit, and I want to never touch a piece of technology again, because holy shit, that was everything. That was the keys to my entire life, and he just pulled them out of his pocket.
Creating a website.
How crazy is that, lads? How crazy is that? I don't know if I've shared this link. I will share it again. But how crazy is that, right? And now, like, and for one thing, this is not to me. This one resource will get you hooked to hacking. It will make you fall in love, have the ishq, the heart feel fullest love with hacking. And this is one of my favorite things I always tell everyone. to go with. Oh, thanks for the hearts. Oh, I love when somebody do that. So, Darknet Diaries, one of the best resource. This is not technical, right? They a little bit technical, but it's about the stories of the hacks that have changed the world to whole another level. And if you see, go back, you see not just Darknet Diaries, but one more thing, Sammy. That is also in purple. And I have talked about this specific guy a lot. And you have seen this guy. You know this guy, technically. Who is Sammy? Let's see his full name. Sam Kamkaran. Remember this guy I was saying during the DEF CON time? See this face? Remember the face? Remember him? Remember him? Remember him? Remember? This guy, if you know, before Facebook, there's something called MySpace. This guy created a virus to become the most famous person on MySpace, and FBI took him. Right? So those are the level people who are either was FBI's friend or their hated list will be at DEF CON. And why I love talking about DEF CON, because that's my goal. You are witnessing a hacker, world-class hacker building from level 1. Why? What is at DEF CON? DEF CON challenges. If I ever I win one of these contests, there are multiple villages. Do look into DEF CON. Look into DEF CON. And if I ever win a DEF CON black batch, basically if I win a contest, I can go to Google, Microsoft, anyone's headquarters tomorrow, putting the black badge, holding it on my chest, and I will get a job. They will not ask any questions. They will say, okay, what job you want? That's how fast I will get a job. That's how fast I can walk into the headquarters saying I have a black badge. It's like if you are in NBA, you are Michael Jordan of it. Kobe Bryant, right? You are like another level. If you are in cricket, Sachin Tendulkar, Virat Kohli, Dhoni, those level people. Football, Ronaldo, Messi, that's the level of people you are competing with in hacking, and then you are winning a challenge. That's all they want to hear. There is legit people, when you go to this DEF CON challenge or DEF CON kiosk, these kiosks, if you actually see, so many of these kiosks, when you go to DEF CON, they legit on their kiosk, these companies, let's say Microsoft will come, and you know what they will say on their kiosk, it will be, if you have a black badge, come talk to us. That's all. So they are legit saying, if you have a black badge, come talk to us. We will give you hundreds and thousands of dollars. Like your salary will be like in this game. This will be your salary if you win, right? So crazy. And that's the level. That's why, like, and it's doable. The most important thing about this, if you want to know, is doable. What you have to do, keep following this dream. Just keep following. It's okay. It's hard. I understand. But if you go through TryHackMe's these paths, right? All these paths. If you do that, then you do the hack the one, right? And there are so many other challenges out there. Step by step, if you do it, don't think about like, how will I do it in 10 years? Just say, okay, what will I be doing tomorrow? I'll do, and that's what I'm doing, right? I'm showing you pre-security. I will do one path. I will do another. I will do 5 tasks. I will do one task. I won't do any task, but I will watch something related to hacking, technology or something. Boom. Right? Anurag, hopefully like this, I knew it, and no, when somebody asked me the question, it just went in a different direction. But I hope this was like inspiring and helpful, right? With Darknet Diaries, a big one. You guys have iPhone, it is a podcast. If you podcast is the app name. On Android also, Google Podcast app name. You can get these for free, right? Do these. And once you reach that, then there is other things like HackerOne. HackerOne is one where you will see. Then there is OWASP, which is also amazing one. I did some stuff on it. OWASP. Another great foundation for security related to web applications and stuff. Now it's also going into another things. So once you start doing, just start with TryHackMe and Darknet Diaries, right? And just watch fun videos from HackerOne interviews. That's all you do, right? Then come back to me, then I will give you more detail. But also just like with me, right? Just keep coming, have your computer on, keep doing TryHackMe with me, pre-security. And I will tell you what we are covering tomorrow. We are covering the Linux Fundamentals Part 3. This is a good one, a beautiful one. Because you will learn about text editors. You will be able to change the content of the file needed so that when you have the password file, access to password file, you can change the sudo doers file, right? Then a couple of other utilities, like couple of other commands that are very helpful to know when you, let's say, access a computer, like downloading things, right? Certain processes. This actually is the way I was able to find I was hacked. I had a MacBook. I was like, there is something wrong with it. I did through processes, I was able to find I was hacked. So it's good to know these things, right? Very practical. Automation, maintaining your system with automation, good thing. Because once you learn automation, AI is kind of automation, right? So learn the basics of automation, you can use AI better. Package management, a bit harder, but again, good thing. Packages, basically software management, different softwares, stuff like that. Maintaining the logs, there are so many logs, how to maintain them, how to look through them in one command, stuff like that. So these will be a bit more harder stuff, but of course we will have time. Again, it's a premium room, so you don't have to pay. Just come over, ask me questions. You can take information, whatever you like, take screenshots if you want. So we will be covering that tomorrow. And after this, boom, after this, we are not going for Windows for one day. Why? Remember, we will be covering something called, for this Linux specifically, we will be covering, I've searched it so many times, Over the Wire Bandit. This game, we will be playing this game, which is all about using Linux, right? The commands we learn and getting flagged one after the other. It's a whole, just like, in Mario, you have level 1, 2, 3, Contra, so many games. You complete one mission, you learn something, and then use that ability to become better. Same thing. We'll start from level 0. I would want everyone to have this, right? And let's do this level 34 together. Yes, it is a CTF challenge. Yes. So if you go, this is called Bandit. There are a lot of war games. Bandit is one of them. And you can see this is first one. We'll be covering more, but first we'll start with Bandit because it's all about Linux things we learn, right? We'll try to cover as much as possible, and you can see, if you don't know about any command, just go through the man page of it. So we'll do those things. I will show you, because I haven't done Bandit. I did, like, last time I did was I reached level 10 like 2-3 years ago. But yeah, like, I don't even know, level 10, level 15, right? So you will see how I think, how I do things, right? And you can help me improve, you improve, right? So hopefully that was a good introduction. Hopefully you guys learned stuff, right? And I could be helpful in the journey, inspiring you, making things a bit more crazy. And do not forget one more thing, if you want about, do join my Discord, and you can find, talk to me, have any questions you have for me, feel free to ask me, right? Whether it's with coding, development, or hacking, or there are a lot of other smart people too here. So do join the Discord, ask any questions if you like. And with that being said, time for me to go have my dinner. And thank you so much, everyone. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate all the hearts you guys gave, all the likes, all the subscribers, all the follows. It's big, and all the chats, specifically chatting, these interaction is big. So thank you so much, especially Anurag, Rupankar, right? And also we have what was the name? Lyrical Joker, right? Panda. Everyone, thank you so much for all this. And my man Travis here, right? So thank you everyone for all this, right? Hopefully you guys learned something. Do help others. Pay it forward. Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow. I live in Canada, boss. I live in Canada. Yeah. That's why my timings are 7 p.m. PST, Pacific Standard Time. For India, I think it's 7:30 a.m. Indian Standard Time. So that's my timings, right? And again, any other question you have, feel free to ask me. And oh yeah, thank you so much. No, thank you. Right? It helps me with my journey when people come chat with me. So thank you so much, Anurag. Thank you so much, Rupankar. Big thanks, right? And thank you everyone for all the subscribers. I got 20 subscribers in one day. Cannot believe that. So much thankful. And like I said, like we end every time. 3, 2, 1. Bye. Bye everyone. Have a good day. Bless you all. Namaste. And make sure help others and help yourself, right? And take it easy. Thank you. Bye.